Here's why most people fail when going from one-to-one into one-to-many programs, especially around the curriculum. Give me 5 minutes. I'll walk you through some of the principles of building your mastermind or group program curriculum to make sure that it actually works and you enjoy running this. And if this sounds interesting, then you might want to book a game plan call in or around this video. Just grab the link, book a time, and we'll chat. So let's dive in. So I love starting with Trello for curriculums. And there's a couple of things I'm going to show you with my own curriculum that you need to have in place. But the biggest thing to think about before I show you all that is the curriculum that you give your first group program clients should be like a Jenga block. You know, the game Jenga? We actually want to take out as much as possible while keeping the Jenga tower standing. Most people, when they go from one-to-one to one-to-many, really think about, well, my clients will now get less time with me than working one-to-one, which is fair. Therefore, I have to give them all this value by giving them more resources and stuff. This is one of the worst things you can do in a program, especially when you're starting it out, because one, if you give too much, your clients will feel overwhelmed. They will feel like they're falling behind or not making the most use out of things, which means they will stop, they will disengage, and they won't get results, and they won't re-sign with you. And they won't tell their friends about you positively. And the second thing is that when you have a program, it's so much easier to put things in than to take things out. So with the first version, so I always help my clients do a charter launch where we validate this concept. We sell 5-10 spots, and if it works, then we start scaling on Evergreen. So with this, we want that first MVP, minimum viable product. Now, I'm going to walk you through a couple things that your program should have. Firstly, I know, bear with me, some kind of welcome module. This needs to do a couple things. The first piece needs to validate or negate buyer's remorse. Okay. Someone just made a big decision with you. Some people can freak out about this. The first thing here, it should be like, listen, you made a great decision. Congratulations, you're in. Here's some testimonials and case studies of other people who made this decision and what could be possible for you. So you paint that picture. People always skip this, but it's really important. And it can just be like 5 minutes. Then always have some practicalities. I'm just going to like type some notes in here. I'll show you like my real example in a second. Practicalities of, how do I get support? How do I ask questions? Where are the resources? What time? Where do I go? And also things like, hey, how do I refer someone to you? How do I become a case study? All that's in the welcome module, straightforward. The next thing I always suggest is to have a quick start module. If someone just started with you, what's a quick win they can get in the first couple of hours of working with you? So, for example, one of my things that I get every single client to do before they even have their one-to-one onboarding call with me is battle plan call, is what I call the 4P quadrant. And it's this prioritization matrix that my life and business revolves around. As someone with ADHD, it's helped me double my productivity. But if people do that exercise, they will almost always find like at least 5 hours a week that they didn't know that they had. So that means in the first couple of hours of joining my program, they suddenly get their time back. Because I work with people who are fairly booked out, who are busy, who feel like they have too much on the plate. Or another really quick win is get someone to go through their email subscriptions and unsubscribe from things that don't bring them joy. Super simple, right? Any quick wins people can get, whatever's relevant for you, add that in there. I have like 3 different things here. It takes people like less than an hour. Then we want to have some kind of mindset module. Obviously, this is not where you can call your modules. It's just examples. I'm talking you through this. The mindset piece basically is, what are all the reasons someone would join you and then not get results? What would they have to do to not get results? So for example, I know if someone joins one of my programs and they change niche, like they switch their ideal clients multiple times, yeah, it's going to be very, very hard to build up momentum and get results, right? If they try a tactic or strategy for like a week or two and then they give up, yeah, they're not going to get results. So one of the things I share here is 90 days. You need to do something for at least 90 days to get information and then make a decision, right? So a few things like that. The last piece that every program should have, some kind of like setting up for success. So this is, vision, mission, goal setting. What do you actually want? Now, if you're like running a business program like I am, then, like revenue goal setting is important, or like how many people do you want to impact? How do you want to help? Why do you want to help? But if you're, let's say, running, a health program, well, why do I want to have this health benefit? Because this is really important, because you are going to make me do hard things in your program, right? You're going to make me do things I haven't done by myself, or haven't done enough by myself, which means there is some level of being uncomfortable here, which means we need to first really focus on what is the vision, what are the goals, why do you want to do this? And then we can go into the actual program itself. Okay. How does this make sense so far? Here's an example of mine. So we've got like the 30-day battle plan. We've got leveraging your time, your money, your energy. We've got the mindset piece, setting for success, the same thing I just showed you. And then we go into the marketing, what obviously before we can go into how do you put together one-to-many program, we need to know who's the client, what's the niche, what's their problem that they're trying to solve. And then we move into helping you map out your curriculum, creating your charter launch, which is those 5 to 10 sales of your offer, and then going and scaling this with lead generation, content strategy, automations, and putting this on Evergreen. So, oops. So I hope this makes sense. I think it's pretty much straightforward, but a lot of people go and do too much. So one of the things I actually do with my clients when they're in this stage is we go over this together and we cut things down. There is so much more I could add to this, but the principle really has to be, what does every single client need to do? Every single one. So for example, one of the things I teach a lot of my clients is re-engaging your email list and sending more emails. Now, not every client needs to do that, because some already are sending the emails they should be sending and they have a warm list, so we don't have to re-engage them. Or some maybe have a LinkedIn network and they haven't done much with the list, so there's no one to really re-engage. Which means, let's say, an email re-engagement campaign doesn't have to be in the core curriculum. It can be a bonus. All right. So as you're going through this, one, I would just suggest do your bare bones and take things out, put it as a bonus, put it in your back pocket. It's your ace up your sleeve. And two, when you actually start running your first group program with your charter launch, people will ask you questions, and that's going to impact your curriculum, because what you're mapping out here before you run your first group program and the things your clients actually need and want to know might be different. So with this process, I always say, do the outline, go into your charter launch to validate this. Do not build this out. Validate this first. I'll talk about this in a separate video. And then as you start running the program, you can always adjust the curriculum based on what your clients' needs are. And the most important thing is that we don't want to overwhelm them. Keep it simple, take things out as much as possible. Think of that Jenga block, and anything extra, you can always add it in later or have it as a bonus. So if this sounds like what you need to do next, you might want to book a call with me and my team. Click the link below or around this video, find a slot, and we will speak soon. Okay, bye.